There are motorcycles that shout for attention, and then there are motorcycles that simply exist, with presence. The kind of presence that doesn't need to explain itself, the kind that doesn't beg for approval, the kind that feels older than marketing departments and newer than trends. The upcoming Moto Guzzi V100 ADV feels like one of those machines. Even before you ride it, even before you touch it, you feel it in the air around it. That quiet tension between tradition and evolution. It doesn't arrive screaming about horsepower wars or spec sheet victories. It arrives the way a seasoned traveler does, stepping off a train with dust on their boots and stories in their eyes. Calm, confident, already knowing where it belongs. Moto Guzzi has always lived slightly off to the side of the motorcycle world. Never chasing, never copying, always walking its own road. And the V100 ADV feels like the moment where that road finally opens into something wide, open, and endless. Picture the bike standing still in the early morning light. Not posed, not polished for a press shoot. Just resting. The lines feel purposeful, not aggressive, like muscle built from work, not vanity. The bodywork flows forward with a sense of motion even at rest, as if it's always leaning into the next horizon. There's something undeniably Italian in its shape. Not flashy, not loud, but emotionally intentional. Every surface feels considered. Every angle feels like it exists for a reason beyond just looking good in a thumbnail. And yet, it does look good. In that restrained, grown-up way. The kind of beauty that doesn't fade when trends move on. You sit on it, and the world feels slightly lower. The bars fall naturally to hand. Not commanding you, not demanding you adapt, just meeting you where you are. The seat doesn't try to trap you in one riding position. It invites movement, long hours, small adjustments, weight shifting subtly as the road changes character beneath you. Then you thumb the starter. That transverse V-twin wakes up with a familiar sideways pulse, a gentle reminder that this is not a generic engine architecture pulled from a spreadsheet. It's alive. It leans slightly as it catches, like a dog stretching awake. There's a mechanical honesty to the sound. No artificial drama, no exaggerated noise, just rhythm, pulse, character. You can feel it through the bars, through the seat, through your boots. That slow, confident heartbeat that Moto Guzzi has carried forward for generations, now wrapped in something unmistakably modern. The throttle response is where the relationship really begins. Not snappy, not abrupt, just intentional. The way the bike rolls forward feels deliberate, like it's asking, how fast do you want to go, rather than deciding for you. There's torque everywhere you need it. Not the kind that rips your arms straight, but the kind that moves the horizon closer without effort. You roll through city streets first because that's where most journeys actually begin. Traffic lights. Painted lines, damp tarmac still holding on to last night's rain. The bike feels narrower than it looks, slipping between lanes with a calm composure. The engine doesn't complain at low speeds. It doesn't surge. It doesn't hunt. It just flows. The clutch is light. The gearbox feels mechanical in the best way. Each shift a quiet agreement between rider and machine. Not buttery smooth, not harsh, just precise. Honest. And in those moments, creeping forward in traffic, watching reflections slide across shop windows, you start to understand what this bike is really about. It's not trying to dominate environments. It's trying to adapt to them. As the city thins and the road opens, the ADV side of the V100 begins to whisper instead of shout. Wind protection settles around you like a cocoon, shaping the air rather than fighting it. At speed, the bike feels planted. Not heavy, not floaty, just steady. The kind of stability that lets your shoulders drop and your breathing slow. Out on a long stretch of road, the engine hums rather than roars. There's a sense of distance built into its DNA. The bike doesn't feel eager to stop. It feels eager to continue. And somewhere in that rhythm, throttle, road, engine, you remember why motorcycles like this matter. Because they're not about winning, they're about going. If this kind of deep story-driven motorcycle content is your thing, make sure you're subscribed to SuperBike Intelligence. We don't just talk about bikes here, we feel them. The road begins to rise as the landscape changes. Mountains ahead, the air thins, the temperature drops. The V100 ADV doesn't transform dramatically here. It doesn't need to. Instead, it tightens its focus. Steering becomes more communicative. The front end speaks more clearly as the road coils and bends. The bike leans with a reassuring neutrality, holding a line without drama. You can feel the suspension working beneath you, not announcing itself, not drawing attention, just absorbing imperfections and translating grip back to your hands. On rougher surfaces, there's a gentle conversation happening between tire and terrain. The bike never feels surprised, never feels caught off guard. You stand briefly on the pegs as the surface deteriorates, and the bike accepts it without complaint. Balance remains. Control remains. The engine continues its steady cadence, unfazed by loose gravel or uneven ground. This isn't a machine pretending to be adventurous. It feels like one that understands what adventure actually is. Adventure isn't about speed, it's about uncertainty, and the confidence to meet it calmly. As clouds roll in, the first drops of rain begin to fall. Light at first, then heavier. The road darkens. Reflections stretch longer. Traction changes. The V100 ADV adjusts without drama. Power delivery softens subtly. The bike feels like it's leaning closer to you, not pulling away. Rain riding reveals a motorcycle's true personality. Panic shows quickly. Harshness becomes exhausting. But here, there's a sense of trust forming. The throttle still responds smoothly. The brakes communicate clearly. The chassis stays composed even when conditions turn unpredictable. You ride on, water streaking across your visor, engine heat rising gently beneath you, and it hits you. This bike doesn't feel like a machine you conquer. It feels like one you cooperate with. Night falls eventually, as it always does. Headlights carve tunnels through darkness. The world shrinks to what's directly ahead. The engine's pulse becomes more noticeable now, almost comforting. Each vibration reminds you that something mechanical, something alive, is carrying you forward. The V100 ADV doesn't feel intimidating at night. It feels reassuring, like it knows the way even when you don't. You think about Moto Guzzi's past in moments like this, about bikes that were never meant to chase trends, but to serve riders, about engines that told stories through motion rather than numbers, about a brand that survived not by shouting, but by staying true. This motorcycle feels like that philosophy distilled into something modern, not a reboot, not a betrayal, an evolution. And if you're enjoying this kind of storytelling, and where motorcycles are treated like experiences rather than products, drop a comment and let me know. It genuinely helps SuperBike intelligence grow. As dawn breaks again, somewhere far from where you started, you pull over, kill the engine. Silence settles in. The bike clicks softly as it cools, metal adjusting, relaxing. You step back and look at it, now lightly dusted, road-worn, real. It doesn't look like it's just been tested. It looks like it's been lived with. That's the magic here. The Moto Guzzi V100 ADV doesn't feel like a motorcycle designed to impress you in the first 5 minutes. It feels like one designed to reveal itself over 5,000 miles. The kind of bike that grows richer the longer you stay with it. The kind that becomes familiar without ever becoming boring. It doesn't need to dominate conversations. It simply stays with you. And as motorcycling moves forward toward more tech, more screens, more numbers, bikes like this matter more than ever. Because they remind us that riding isn't about consumption, it's about connection. Connection to the road, to the machine, to yourself. So if the future of adventure motorcycling looks like this, calm, confident, character-driven, then it's a future worth riding into. And if you want to keep exploring that future with me, make sure you're subscribed to SuperBike Intelligence. There are many more roads ahead. The engine may fall silent at the end of the ride, but the feeling it leaves behind, that lingers.